I know I can do it. Welcome to episode 19 of Roll with the Fox. All right, guys. So today we have a program to go over, but we got a couple of requests to go over the modified bow and arrow from episode 16 or 17. One of those. So let's look at it. Again, the reason I prefer to do it this way, if this gets taken away from me, and usually what happens, it's rare, but if you have a strong bow and arrow and you basically almost put the guy away, and he reaches with both hands on his lapel and just yanks. Sometimes my hand just pops off. So in this case, I'm in a better position, less of a scramble. So let's look at it. I attack Enrique. I get my grip. And now, so it's the same grip like you would normally use, but instead of me sliding in for bow and arrow, normally that we would do, what I do is I line up north-south with him and keep on flat. If I were to lose it, he's still in a very, very, very bad position. I can follow up with other things. Okay, so the collar grip is the same. It's less likely that his head is going to pop out from underneath my arm, because that's the defense. And if I were to lose it again, he's still in a very bad position. I'm still controlling that leg. So he's not just bottom of cross side, but also a weak bottom of cross side. If you're in a bottom of cross side, there's, like this is not a bad bottom of cross side. So this I'm okay with, even though I'm on bottom. I'm sort of set up for good defenses as he's just coming in. I feel very comfortable to escape this now. If he's controlling me by the knee, yeah. This is not a good bottom of cross side for me. All right, so not that there's such a good thing as a good bottom of cross side, but there are differences, and you should pay attention to them. Again, if I put Enrique in danger, and I wind up here, so even if I were to lose it, he pops his head out. This is not a good bottom of cross side for Enrique. All right, this is very controlling, as opposed to just having your arms back and loading up with your legs. Yeah, this is just a matter of time before you escape. Okay? So let's move on to the program of today. The program of today is turtle. How do I attack the turtle? Okay. So my basic philosophy is, let's look at how do we get into turtle. We can get there from standing. So snap and reach down, and he's forced to turtle down. I can get there off a loose knee cut pass. So you passing again, or you. You passing, sort of bullfighter pass. So there's a lot of different ways to get the guy into a turtle. So usually what I'll do is, if I turtle him up where I'm north-south, I will start attacking north-south first. If I wind up there, sort of on his side, I will attack from the side. So I will move, but a lot of times when people, or if the guy takes a shot and you sprawl on him and he turtles up, he might be defending your shot pretty well. So as I'm sprawling on him, as I'm sprawling on him, now my control is somewhat marginal here. If I rush to take his back, this is where Enrique is going to try to fold, because I did not solidify my control. So if I'm north-south, I'd rather attack north-south first. I may switch to the back if he's doing too good of a job defending the north-south attacks. All right, but just that movement, most people expect you to go perpendicular to attack the back, and therefore they'll try to time rolling underneath at the correct time, at the appropriate time. So they put you in guard, but a lot of times it's not just guard. Again, guys, there's guards and there's guards. So if I sprawled on Enrique, so a lot of times as I sprawl, my legs go pretty far back. If I try to take his back too quickly, yeah, this is not, he's putting me in guard, but this is a very dangerous guard for me. All right? Because my posture is broken. I didn't really have my base underneath me. So again, if I sprawl on him, I want to make sure that I solidify my control first. A lot of times we can do that by attacking north-south, because what happens is when you attack north-south, instead of him trying to roll, which kind of creates opening, they hunker down. Okay? So even if I sprawl, I'm not going to take the back first. I'm going to solidify my control. All right? So then I'm going to start to attack. Again, from here, I already know Enrique is already, it's okay. You can do what feels right. His left hand is already on my left wrist because he knows. Most guys know once I'm here, my first weapon is a guillotine. And that would be my first weapon, even with the gi. With the gi, it's going to be a little bit harder to swim in. But also, as you know, my guillotine usually is no arm in and tends to be very shallow. So even with the gi, I can sometimes get it in. But the guys that know my game, first thing they do is left hand on my left wrist, and sometimes they do 2-on-1. Sometimes they do both hands, which is okay. It ties them up, but right now my traditional guillotine is not available, and also my right hand is sort of over his arm rather than on the neck. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch into, especially with the gi, what I would do is switch into arming guillotine / to Anaconda. That's a really good combination. You can attack Peruvian necktie also. That I will only reserve if I feel the guy is hunkered down too well and there's no openings that I'm getting. I'm not a huge fan of Peruvian necktie as a submission, but more as a sort of setup into the Anaconda. So let's look at it, because right now, when I was here, I sprawled on him. So Enrique, posture up to the camera. So this is what he had, the grips he already had. All right. So his grips are already protecting sort of his neck. So I know, and his elbow is really tight. So I'm going to have a hard time prying it open. So if I can pry his elbow, and usually you do that with your arms. All right. So usually I will drive in and push it under. But if it's so close to the hips, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to grab my wrist like I would on a no-arm guillotine. This is the grip. All right? Guys, very simple principle. People, this is not the same. You always have to think about which hand is the choking hand. The choking hand has the difficult job. Therefore, the other hand has to support it, not vice versa. All right? So in this case, it's my left hand around his neck. So my left arm, my left wrist gets supported by my right hand. All right? So I'm here. He already starts to grab. So I'm going to control my wrist. Now, this is people, when they attempt the Peruvian necktie, the biggest mistake people do is pop up lined up. If you pop up lined up, you might as well just pull guard when he's turtled up. That's what's going to happen. You might have snapped the guy down, you turtled him up, you might have turtled him up from a guard pass, or maybe he took a really bad shot, you turtled him up, and now you just gave up position for nothing, no return. So the key to Peruvian necktie is you have to go perpendicular, all right? So I pop up and I sit to my left hip. Okay? That's the key. If you allow his head to pop out, that's a bad Peruvian necktie. Don't bother, just pull guard. All right? So let's look at it again, all right? So I sprawled on him, and he's already getting his elbow is pretty far. If his elbow is underneath or forward, I will attempt something else. We're gonna go over that, okay? But if his elbow is so close, it's almost inverted. It's gonna be very difficult. I'm fighting gravity and I'm fighting him. Like I said, Enrique might be slightly stronger than I am. Thank you, Jess. So as I'm driving in, all right, I'm already grabbing my hand. I've played around a lot with different grips, including such like this. I believe this is the most effective one, but I'll leave that up to you to play around with. So he's usually grabbing my wrist, so not my hand. So I can usually get my hand in. All right. So I already get my hands, and I'm pushing into him, so he can't really fold. And I'm threatening that if he does that I'm going to take this away from him. So he's going to keep his elbow back. All right. So now, guys, I don't want to be here too long. You don't want to be doing this, because if the guy postures up, don't the head posture up. I'm going to try to go sideways. I'm going to try to wrap him in some sort of an oddball triangle. But if you don't do that, and he postures up and you linger, hopping up, your head is going to go straight into the floor, into the mat, and that's going to be the first thing that hits the mat with the full body weight behind it, okay? So, once you set up the grips, guys, don't sit here like this, all right? So, as soon as I pop up, I'm sitting to my left hip. All right? So, again, my success rate on Peruvian necktie is marginal. To me, if you set up a submission properly and you have 70, 80+% success rate, that's a good submission for your game. You're setting it up properly. If you have a 50-50, I usually would not go for that unless I'm trying to, in drilling or flow rolling or even live rolling, but if I'm sort of not worried about, who I'm training with, it's a good training partner of mine, I will usually not attempt 50-50 submission rates. It's just too low. With Peruvian necktie, I might be even lower. But if you set it up properly, it will almost always lead into a very, very strong anaconda. And that's where we're going to go. Do we have any questions on this so far?
On YouTube, AGU26Fly says, "Hi, Professor. Your details are inspirational. Please keep yourself healthy for many years so you can share the jiu-jitsu that you have." Augustine from Singapore.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Clean Crank BJJ on YouTube also says, "What is a good way to keep control when you are going for the arm and guillotine and your opponent rolls? I always switch to the Anaconda, but I lose it most times."
Okay, we're going to go over that next. So we're going to go set up first. We're going to set up the Anaconda from a Peruvian necktie, and then we're going to set up the arm and guillotine to Anaconda. All right? So let's look at it again. So this time we're still using the Peruvian necktie, and the reason for why I cannot, I'm not going to get deep enough on my left arm, which is the choking arm, to have a good arm and guillotine. So I make a judgment call. I have to do something else. A Peruvian necktie, again, might be a decent sort of setup or submission. As a submission, I'm not a huge fan of it, but as a setup, I'm a huge fan. All right? So, pop up and sit to my left hand. I know He wants to pop his head out, but that's not going to be possible. No, roll like you would try to roll. So he's going to try to roll straight. He's trying to clear my body. So I've used my right leg to steer him into the position where I want him, which is, as you can see, an extremely strong Anaconda. All right? So I'm going to use it a little bit strong, a little bit faster, and then we slow down again. So you guys can see how I'm using my right leg to steer, because I know his only answer at that point is to try to roll. So I steer him. So if I'm choking with my left hand, which I usually am, for those of you who know my game, I will steer him with my right leg. Okay? If you're choking with your right arm, you're going to be steering him with the opposite leg, which in this case would be left. All right? So I set up my grips. All right? So I'm deciding I can't pull out the arm. He's hunkered down. He's waiting for me to make a mistake. So I'm just going to prop up. And I'm sitting to my left hip, but I'm also already steering him. I know I said I was going to do it faster, but I did it slower. Here's a faster version of that. So that's how I use Peruvian necktie, primarily to set up a very strong Anaconda choke. When he rolls, if I steer him if I'm choking with my left hand, which I usually am, steer him with my right leg. Usually when they'll land so extended that the Anaconda choke kicks in really, really fast. Do we have any questions before we move on into sort of arm and guillotine and into Anaconda?
So far 2 questions about the Peruvian necktie. Anon loves Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram says, Namaste, coach.
Hi.
Will it work if you catch his far side collar by the hand, which is going under the armpit? So if you reach across and grab with that underhook to the far collar.
Yeah, it might. I personally, prefer universal games, so I will have the same game. Almost, my game is very, very similar to gi or no gi. I usually like the gi better in the winter and no gi in the summer. Just kidding, guys. But it is true, the gi is usually warmer. There are differences in thinking speed. Usually with gi, it's easier to slow the game down when you need to, and therefore it helps you figure out points of control, how to slow things down, how to control things tighter. No-gi, you have to be precise, and also it's a much faster game, so you have to think faster. So if anybody on here is primarily a gi or no-gi player, I would encourage the gi guys and vice versa, no-gi guys. Whatever you do, at least one time a week, try to do the other one, because I think it's going to make your game better. May not necessarily be your go-to game, but it will make your game better. Switching it up once a week. So anyways, yeah, you could reach into the collar. You have some collar chokes. I personally just prefer to go, grab my own wrist just like I would in a no-gi situation. It's a very easy transition, gi no-gi for me.
And Fresh Me asked, the foot that goes over the head, is it posted or is it straight?
You want to kind of push down on it, so. Right now I'm like it. So when I bend it, I'm lightening it on the choke. So my arms are stationary. By straightening the arm, I'm pressuring his head into the choke. So the leg rather. I'm sorry. But also notice that in Peruvian necktie, you're supposed to bring the leg over. I don't, because what I'm looking to do is I'm looking for the follow-up into the Anaconda.
And on Facebook, Awel asked, how can I stop my partner from rolling after the Peruvian necktie?
It's hard. It's hard to stop them, especially if you got somebody that's tough and flexible. You can, that's the whole point. That's why, you know, I'm transitioning straight into the Anaconda. Because it's very difficult to stop them from rolling, and if you're not prepared for a backup plan, you're going to lose it. You could stop them from rolling by bringing the second leg over, but sometimes, you know, as you bring the second leg over, so as I pop it out, this usually will stop them from rolling, but not necessarily. So yeah, sometimes they could still, yeah, they could sort of twist out of it. That's what Enrique just did. So he did really slow. He stayed very. Yeah, we're already head fighting right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. We're already head fighting where this is gonna go. As you can see, he stayed calm under pressure, and rather than rolling, he kind of twisted to get the foot slightly off, and then he arched and wound up on top. At that point, it would be a bit of a scramble, but you could see that even though I brought my leg over, it still did not stop the roll. So usually it does at least the initial attempt. Whereas if I'm ready, this is like, yes, we're doing it. We have to do it. Whereas if I'm just anticipating him rolling, that's going to happen no matter what, before he has a chance, so as he rolls, as he's landing, I'm already locking up the Anaconda, so he never has a chance to kind of now arch back and try to create a scramble. All right. So I'm already helping him. Yeah, that's not even close. So I already know where he wants to go, and I almost help him there. Because by doing that, it takes away that second sort of possible defense. All right, do we have any more questions? Otherwise, I'm moving on. I'm sure there's other questions. Guys, if you cannot watch this live, it's okay. You can post your questions under the live feed. Because I usually in the late afternoon, I'll watch it to see if we can do something better, and also for all the comments and questions. So even if you don't make it live, ask questions in the comment section below. All right, so let's look at what happens if we don't go the Peruvian necktie route, but rather we go. So if his elbow is sort of vertical to the floor, I'm looking for 90 degrees or more. If he's sort of here, I will not attempt this. It's going to be very difficult to ferret that arm up. So I'm looking for 90 degrees or more, okay? This is less. This might be 45, 90, 120, I don't know, something like that. 10 minutes, all right. So when I'm here, guys, and if I can see if he's sort of supporting himself like this, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to drive in. So look what happens to his elbow. When I drive in, it's not as firmly planted on the ground. So I drive in, and then I use my arm to slide his arm away. Now the next steps, guys, are very, very important. Okay? I'm going to drive my left leg behind his arm to form a wedge, so he cannot retract his arm. I do it, guys, don't rush it, because once you do that, then you realize there's a huge slack in your choking arm. And if you don't take your time to take it out, you might as well pull guard. So, I'm going to slide my leg, and sometimes I will do it, change the angle. Now I took out the slack. So you'll feel it. Once you do this, you realize, man, there's a lot of slack. So pull your arm in, and now you enforce your grip. Now we're going to go into arm and guillotine. Now, there's a huge difference in my body positioning, how I finish an arm and guillotine, depending if I'm controlling the left carotid. I choke with my left arm, so the left carotid. If his shoulder is not protecting the left carotid, I can finish with the body positioning we've been working on. And if you have my book or the DVD series, you know it's very much somewhat perpendicular at a big angle. But if he's protecting his carotid with his shoulder, with his left carotid, what I'm going to do is, guys, as I'm sliding in, This will not finish the choke. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna anchor myself and I'm gonna slide in. So what I'm doing is, once I anchor it and I'm slide my body underneath it, what it does, my body pushes his arm into his own karate. So normally, even arm and guillotine, sometimes if the guy takes a shot at me, yeah, I have arm and guillotine, but my hand, my left hand controls both karateds, his left as well as right. So I will finish like this. Same finish like as if it was not an arm in. You have to learn to read the difference. Because if you use the wrong body positioning, you will not get the submission. Okay? In this case, by the way you're manipulating his left arm, it almost for sure is going to be the case where his shoulder will be protecting his carotid. And therefore, you have to use your body to kind of push the carotid in. You're not going to get it done with your arms. So as I'm driving in, I take the arm away. I start to wedge it. This is not deep enough. I'm going to try to drive in one more time, take out the slack, and now I can go down. I'm going to anchor myself, and then I'm going to try to, this is one of the few times in my guillotine finishes that I'm going to slide in to finish. All right, I just lighten up on it, guys. Enrique, can you turn counterclockwise? No, don't lay down, don't lay down. Can somebody tell me what is the common factor between arm and guillotine, no arm and guillotine, huge factor in finishing guillotines? If you've seen the guillotine video we've done with Firas on TriStar YouTube channel, if you have my book or videos, what is the number one of the big 3 points in finishing guillotine? And this is the same, arming guillotine and no arming guillotine. Can somebody tell us what it is? I know you guys know the answer. Jenny usually has good, a lot of people have good answers, but Jenny usually does.
While we're waiting for the answer, on YouTube, Antonio Sotillo says, "You are awesome. This BJJ is so fluid. Thank you, Professor."
Thank you. I appreciate the word fluid.
So, Clean Crank BJJ says no hairline. John Grappler says shoulder forward. Jazzy GT on Instagram says can't see the back of the neck.
Yes.
Elotsa Pierce says roll your shoulder forward.
Yes, every one of them is correct, guys. If you can see your training partner's hair, and basically it's that positioning again is done. You guys are very correct. It's done rolling the shoulder forward. So if you roll the shoulder forward, you cannot see the hair. You have a very good chance either for success or transitioning into something else that allows you to dominate, keep your momentum, and put him away with something else. Okay, so yeah, excellent answer, guys. Yeah, really good. So what we're gonna do, guys, now is we're gonna do the same thing, but this time Enrique is gonna flop, and we're just gonna switch into the Anaconda. And that goes back to the question before. I just want to make sure we have the best angle for this. So, I take the arm away, I drive in, not deep enough, I cut the angle to make sure that it's deep enough, take out the slack. Now Enrique knows what's up. He flops. Guys, how easy that transition into Anaconda. Notice that I'm keeping my leg on top of his arm, so to slow him down. I'm taking my sweet time. Enrique is actually struggling here. Oh, shit. All right. Why do you tap? Why didn't you tap? I was wondering, sorry guys, This is live. Lay down, just relax. This is, guys, this was not a stunt. I did not feel the tap. Guys, this was not a stunt. Mike, did he tap?
No.
I was wondering why it was taking so long for him to tap. Well, now you know. So, this was not a stunt, guys. Shit. I'm sorry. I didn't feel, yeah. He's laughing because I didn't see you tap. I didn't feel you tap. Mike says he didn't tap. Guys, did he tap? I was wondering how I was taking so long. I don't know if this is good or bad, guys. All right.
Jean-Christophe says so effective. Legacy Channel said, I think he did try to tap.
Yeah, try and tapping is different things.
But Jazzy GT says no tap, so it's...
Well,
Scott.
trying to tap without tapping is actually not tapping, because I have to feel it or hear it.
Yeah, on Facebook, no tap, no he didn't. It's okay. He's okay, guys, he's okay.
So guys, I don't want to choke you anymore. At least today. At least today. Oh shit. Guys, fortunately.
Good timing.
Fortunately, we're out of time because I really don't want to choke him because it's, you know, yeah, I do somehow feel bad about it, but at the same time, it goes to show you how effective that can be. We will pick this topic up tomorrow, attacking the turtle. Again, we're gonna go no arm and guillotine to Anaconda. We're gonna move through that quickly, make sure there's no flashbacks, and then we're gonna try to do when we start to pivot around to the body. And all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Stay safe, take care of others, and I will see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.